Why couldn't they shoot him somewhere else? This ruins my investigation.
What makes you so sure it's a Fenian murder, sir?
Fenians, rebels, call them what you like. No one else gets rid of unwanted accomplices by firing squad.
Who was he?
Don't ask me. All I know is what's in the paper. Gruesome find in park. Same thing as in Hamilton 2 years ago.
Well, I'll help you with those tomorrow.
Why not this evening? Oh, it's your night off.
Yes, sir. And there's someone I'd like you to meet.
Me?
Yes, a young lady. May I bring her in?
What, in here?
Yes, well, I think we're going to be seeing quite a lot of one another.
Oh, Lord.
So I thought she should get accustomed to you, sir.
All right. Go on.
Inspector, I'd like you to meet Miss Kathy O'Rourke, Inspector Cameron.
How do you do? Yes.
Well, we're off to a demonstration of the moving pictures at St. Lawrence Hall.
Oh, really?
Yes, it should be quite an educational event.
No doubt. Have you ever seen a moving picture, Miss O'Rourke?
Oh, no, sir. That's why the sergeant promised me.
Nasty, flickery things. Passing fad, I assure you. But if you want to waste a couple of nickels, I won't stop you.
I'm so glad to have met you, Inspector Cameron.
Well, enjoy yourselves. And you be here at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
I'll see that he doesn't stay up too late.
Young woman, don't make promises you can't keep, eh? O'Rourke, Irish, eh?
From County Cork.
Oh, well, I wouldn't hold that against you.
Is there any reason why you should?
Well, your compatriots have been taking up rather a lot of my time lately.
Oh, you mean that young lad that was murdered?
Executed, according to the newspapers.
Yes, I know what they say, that it's the Fenians making trouble again. Well, sir, let me tell you that most of us want nothing to do with that class of person, and that's the truth.
I'm sure it is. One shouldn't generalize. To suspect all the Irish of violent tendencies is as ridiculous as saying all Scots are mean, eh? Sergeant Straker knows I am the soul of generosity. Well, run along and amuse yourselves, eh? I still say you're wasting your money.
$2,000, Morris. And I don't believe you're even grateful.
I am, Mother. Oxford was quite an experience.
You seem to have spent most of your time there climbing things.
Only the bell tower and everyone does that.
I've had a most disturbing letter from the Dean.
Oh, he's an old fogey, Mother. Besides, he hates what he calls colonials.
Now, Morris, don't make excuses.
No, really, Mother. He thinks we're all half-witted and have far too much money. I bet he tried to sting you for some cash.
Repairs to masonry, he said.
But don't give him a cent. We've already paid out far too much. I'm sure you've had to scrimp and save.
I'd make any sacrifices, you know that. I wish you'd given more attention to your studies.
Now, darling Mother, we both know that wasn't why I went to Oxford.
Then why was it, dear?
You said Father would have wanted me to acquire some polish. Meaning cultivate a few nice, rich, influential, non-Canadian friends. So useful when I joined the board.
You've always said that you weren't interested in the business.
I surprised you, didn't I? No. I can't pretend that I've had a sudden conversion and become enthralled with the lumber business, but let's say I'm growing up and starting to settle down.
Father would have been so happy, Morris. Will you ring for the maid?
I knew you'd be pleased.
I'll speak to Mr. Frampton today.
Who's he?
The chairman.
Oh, yes, of course.
He'll find you a position in the Toronto mill. Something that will teach you the business from the ground up. That's the way all the Amstys begun.
After 3 generations, I was hoping that possibly I could start a...
No, Morris. That's what your father would have wished. And the same pay as everyone else doing the same job. But it's only fair.
You say so, Mother. Then perhaps we should talk about an allowance.
Will you take this away, please, Kathy?
Nice enough, young fella. Haven't been here long enough to pass opinion shot. Well, I speak as I find, that's all. The last place I was at, they were too stuck up even to say good day to you. Oh, Mr. Morris will do that all right. With a tweak on the rear end if you happen to be a woman.
I won't have this, do you hear? The gentry may have their faults, but they're not to be discussed down here.
It's supposed to be a free country, Mr. Winthrop.
Anyway, I want to know, who's he been tweaking? Minnie?
Oh, he better not.
Well, you might do worse by yourself, you know.
Worse than what?
He'll own half a Canada one day. Well, it's worth a tweak, I'd say.
I'll think about it.
Now, stop this instantly.
I was only asking.
Last place I was at, we didn't have stable hands at table.
I'm surprised you can remember Mr. Winthrop. I thought you'd been here years.
Yes, I have. Long enough to develop some respect for my employers, which is more than I can say for you young people. The late Mr. Anstey was a perfect gentleman.
And he left you his gold watch, huh?
He did nothing of the kind. Mrs. Anstey gave it to me as a recognition of my services.
If I was, extra nice to her, would you give me one?
Sean, stop it. You're terrible.
Well, she's going to Montreal tomorrow. She might want a companion on the journey. The lady at the last place I was at used to... Well,
Sean Murphy, if I hear any more of this, I shall have to take steps.
But he doesn't mean any harm. Not really.
I might have known you Irish would stick together.
He thinks he's employing us, you realize. English bastard.
Patrick, I wish you wouldn't talk like that.
So you are awake, then? You haven't said a word all morning.
She's in love, that's why. Look at her. Oh, Mooney.
Got yourself a fella. That's a pity. I was reckoning up my chances.
I saw them together at the moving pictures. He's tall and handsome, with a beard.
You never told me. Who is he, Kathy?
It's not your business, is it?
Well, I am your brother.
Well, that doesn't give you the right to spy on me.
Who's spying? I just want to know who you're going with, that's all. Is he an Irish fella?
No.
Oh, for God's sake, not an English
He's
fella.
Canadian.
An Empire loyalist, I bet.
His people were. But does that matter?
Yes. Now, what does he do, this man of yours?
Oh, a bit of this and that.
You don't want to tell me. Why? A black Protestant, is he?
I don't know. We didn't talk about religion. Mr. Winthrop says there's no more brandy.
It's lying in his tea.
Well, only the Napoleon.
Good. I'll have that.
He says he's got strict orders from Mrs. Anstey.
Mother won't be back from Montreal for at least a week. And by then, anything could happen.
Then you'd better talk to Mr. Winthrop.
What's the matter, Kathy? Don't you like me anymore?
Please, Mr. Morris.
I want to dance.
Go ahead. Who's stopping you?
Oh, they're having a good time, all right? Are you sure you wouldn't like me to go up and see if
No.
you wanted? I
only wanted to see what they looked like.
Minnie!
Yes, Mr. Winthrop.
This should be cold enough by now. And they need cooling down by the sound of them.
Ah, thank you, Sean. Minnie, a jug. Well, go and help Patrick mind the carriages.
Well, can I not go upstairs? Just a little peep.
Certainly not. I don't know what's the matter with you all. It's because Mr. Morris has a few friends in. Sort of lady friends who drink port and lemonade.
None of the English girls was as pretty as you. Come on, have a drink.
No, thank you, Mr. Morris.
Come on.
No!
Little kiss then?
Kathy! Stop them blazing! Kathy, go downstairs.
Now, look here. I give the orders in this house.
The servants, sir, are my responsibility. If you require anything further, I shall take care of it myself.
You can go to hell, Winthrop. We don't need you. Hey, I'll see you in the morning! Where do you think you're going?
You know the house. Where do you suggest?
You know, I think you're really handsome. If you like me, I can come again.
Hey, old boy, there's no more champers. What are we going to do? We sent the butler packing. Now we're dry.
I'll go and find some.
Good old Morris.
What's in there?
A cupboard by the look of it.
That'll do.
Sorry.
Plenty of room. Now, this is more like it.
Looks like Mrs. Anstey's.
Well, come on, get your clothes off. Oh, my God.
Try the bathroom, dearie.
You'd better go to bed. You don't look well.
Thank you, Mr. Winthrop.
Well, Kathy, did you miss me? Not one of the English girls was as pretty as you. What's the matter, Kathy? Don't you like me anymore?
The girl is quite incapable of premeditated murder.
How do you know that, Straker?
Well, I just...
Because you took her to the moving pictures. Oh, come now, Sergeant.
Well, one can tell.
I still can't, and I've been chasing criminals a lot longer than you have, laddie. Besides, you're not on the case, you're not involved.
But I am, sir. I can't help it. She's a friend of mine, and she's in trouble.
Oh, my sainted aunt.
Well, I can't stand by and let them hang her.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Break into the Don jail and carry her off on a mettlesome white charger? Then what? Marry her and spend the rest of the time wondering if it's your turn next?
Well, I was hoping to ask you a favor, sir.
What?
Well, you have so much more experience than I have.
That's
I was
true.
wondering if you could, well, make a few investigations.
What about?
About what on earth could have made her do it.
Straker, are you demented?
Oh, I don't think
or
so,
simply
sir.
blinded by calf love? What do you suppose Morris Anstey was doing in the girl's bedroom?
Well, sir, I suppose he was hoping to seduce her.
So she shot him on the spur of the moment, using a gun she'd thoughtfully acquired some time previously. If that's not premeditation, I'd like to know what it is.
Well, perhaps it was his gun, Inspector.
Oh, blethers.
Well, if we could prove that, then we could convince
Stop
the jury.
saying we. I will have nothing whatever to do with this case. In the first place, it's outside my jurisdiction. It happened in Toronto.
Well, that doesn't apply to me, Inspector.
Oh, yes, it does. You're seconded to me. And next, I've met the girl. She visited me in my house. One should never allow one's personal feelings to interfere with one's judgment as a policeman. And in the third place, I'm too busy. Now get on with your work.
Morris was all I had, Inspector Regan. I don't know whether you have any children of your own.
7, Mom.
And you can imagine what it's like to lose your only one. Dreadful sorrow. Particularly when one has so much to hand down.
Yes, quite so.
And in such sordid circumstances.
I don't want to distress you anymore, Mom, but, well, your son was in the young woman's bedroom.
Yes, because she enticed him there. That's the only explanation.
Well, not the only one, but,
It's the truth, Inspector. The girl was of loose moral character.
I interviewed the other servants. Not one of them so much as even hinted that...
Oh, no, they wouldn't. You'd expect them to stick together. They always do.
But you kept her in your employment for 4 years.
Yes, that's true.
In spite of the effect such a girl might have had on an impressionable young man like Mr. Morris.
My son spent 3 of those 4 years in England. And I don't know what you mean by impressionable. Are you suggesting that he was in the habit of running after servant girls?
No. No, of course not, Mrs. Anstey. Just one more question. Do you have any idea where Miss O'Rourke might have obtained the gun?
No, Inspector. No idea at all. Now, will you have a glass of sherry before you leave?
I think Mr. Morris got what he deserved. Don't you, Mr. Winthrop?
It's not for us to express an opinion.
Oh, come on. You found the body. He was lying on our bed.
Lying in wait for her, the brute. Goes to show a girl runs an awful risk. I've heard stories, I can tell you.
Yes, well, we don't want to hear them, thank you, Minnie. Well, come on, Sean. There's work to be done.
We can't just pretend it hasn't happened, Mr. Winthrop.
No, he's right. She was a friend of mine, a good girl. And now... What'll they do to her?
Well, there'll be a fair trial. You can count on that.
A fair trial. Not a chance.
Don't talk like that.
It's true. They're going to hang the girl. They have to, don't you see? The judge, the jury, they'll all be on his side. Morris, Anstey's, because they're the same kind of people. They're not going to take the word of a servant girl. Not even on our sacred oath.
But they've got to, Sean.
And spoil the lily white reputation of the Ansteys. One of the best families in the city. The richest, the most law-abiding, the most church-going. The ones that have half the politicians in their pockets.
I could have you dismissed for this.
Go ahead. I'd rather face the truth even if you don't want to. And the truth is, they're going to put a rope around our Kathy's neck and sling her down a 10-foot drop.
You must eat something. You've got to keep your strength up.
Why?
Now, you don't want to get me in trouble, do you? It's my job to look after you. Now, just take a spoonful.
No.
You're a difficult one, you are.
Leave me alone, please.
Kathy, I'm not allowed to. Governor's orders. Either Mrs. Watts or I has to be with you all the time.
In case I kill myself.
Now, don't talk like that.
It'll save you all a lot of trouble.
You mustn't be downhearted. A young girl like you, they won't be hard on you.
Won't they?
I don't understand you. It's almost as though you've made up your mind.
There's a message from the governor. If you want to see a lawyer.
I've already told you, no!
Very well, if that's your attitude.
There must be somebody you'd like to see.
They wouldn't let you visit her?
No, madam, I didn't get beyond the governor's office. I was, however, allowed to leave a small parcel, a few delicacies.
That was good of you, Winthrop.
It seems she's refusing to see anyone.
Really? Then how will she prepare her case?
Perhaps she'll plead guilty and offer no defense.
I see. And it seems the girl has some sense of loyalty after all.
However, I have been able to obtain a copy of the government pathologist report. The young man had a shamrock tattooed on his left forearm, which suggested... Oh, Boston, really? Yeah, well. Come in, Striker, come in. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Of course, they never told me that. Yes, I know, sir. Ontario's my territory, not Toronto. However, in this particular case... Oh, very well, sir, very well, very well. Anyway, no doubt they told you that the cause of death was 6 shots from pistols. Caliber 44. Yes, there was more than one weapon, sir. Now, if you wish me to continue my inquiries in this... Oh, you do? Well, perhaps you'd be good enough to inform Inspector Regan that... Oh, why not, sir? Oh, I see. Good heaven. Yes, well, in that case, I should investigate, eh? After all, they have a vested interest. Yes, sir. Yes. Well, goodbye, sir. Goodbye.
The Premier?
Yeah.
Something further on this so-called execution?
Yes, there is.
Anything I can do to help, I'd like to have something to occupy my mind.
Yes, I'm sure you would, Stryker, but with your Irish connections. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a joking matter, is it? You feel strongly about the girl.
I tried to see her, but they wouldn't let me.
Just as well.
I'd appreciate your allowing me to help you, sir.
Stryker, it has nothing whatever to do with your feelings for the unfortunate Miss O'Rourke. But there are reasons why you cannot work on this Fenian case either.
I don't understand, sir.
As you know, I have rather difficult relationship with Inspector Regan. Now more than ever due to you.
Me?
Well, nominally you're a member of his force. The Premier seconded you to me. Regan has never quite got over that.
I see.
He suspects a conflict of loyalties.
Well, there's no conflict, sir. As far as I'm concerned, I belong to you.
Yes, an admirable arrangement, since Regan paid your wages. However, in this particular case... Ah, the hell with it. Since you know all about guns, I can use your help. Now, this young man who was executed, as the papers say, was a citizen of the United States. He was smuggling guns to Ireland, no doubt to be used in an uprising against the British. We may never know why he was put to death, but we know how and the weapons used.
A 44, I heard you say.
Which there may be thousands in Canada.
Including, of course, police issue.
Precisely. Now, it may be a complete coincidence, but reports have been reaching the Premier that in recent weeks a number of police weapons have been stolen.
Really, sir? I hadn't heard that.
No, of course you hadn't. I just heard myself. Stryker, you've got to stop worrying about that girl. Don't you believe in justice?
Well, we don't often see you nowadays. To what do we owe this honor?
I want to ask you a favor, sir.
I wouldn't want to upset Inspector Cameron. Did you ask his permission first?
No, sir, I did not.
So I see you've got some sense after all.
Sir?
You know that after the stint with Cameron, you'll be coming back to me.
Yes, sir.
Well, what was this favor you wanted to ask?
Well, it's the murder of Morris Anstey, sir.
What about it?
Well, I think I can be of some assistance. I'd like you to put me on the case.
Oh, so you want to come back to regular police work, do you?
Yes, sir, for a while.
And you want to pick and choose your cases? Not for you, the humdrum and the sordid. Oh, no. Inspector Cameron's given you a taste for high living. You want to hobnob with the rich and cut a dash in Rosedale.
No, sir, not at all.
Anyway, I don't need your help, thank you. There are no more investigations to be made. The case is closed.
Closed? But how can you say that? No one's heard the girl's side of the story yet.
I doubt if anyone ever will. The girl refuses to defend herself, they say. Won't even see a lawyer.
Well, why would she do that?
I suppose because she knows she's guilty.
Sir,
I don't want to discuss the matter any further. You go back to Inspector Cameron and ask him to give you something to occupy you. Keeping busy, is he?
Very.
I half expected to see him come snooping around here.
Oh? Why is that, sir?
He's on the Irish case, isn't he? The suspected Fenians.
That's right.
No doubt he's heard the rumor that police weapons may have been involved.
He doesn't discuss everything with me, sir.
Well, that's all right then, isn't it? Well, it's no business of his. But if he should happen to mention it, you might tell him that everything is under control. The quartermaster and I are personally checking every handgun on the Toronto force. I suppose you got yours, have you, Sergeant Stryker?
You've been suspended.
Well, I can still go on working for you, sir. Anyway, it'll soon be sorted out. As I told you and Inspector Regan, my gun had a faulty firing mechanism. I just handed it into stores for adjustment. The quartermaster must have logged it.
You said the quartermaster denied all knowledge of it.
I told you it must be a mistake.
Why didn't he issue another?
He said they were short.
Short, eh?
Anyway, I'm used to that gun. It's an old friend.
What does it mean, short?
It won me the trophy. Inspector, why are you cross-examining me like this? Do you think I sold my gun to those Irish rebels? That's ridiculous.
I don't think you sold it to anybody. God, you're a fool. First you try to involve me in the case of your young lady, and when that fails, you go to Regan and try to get him to put you on it. If they find out about your feelings for this young lady, wouldn't it be reasonable for them to suspect that you were trying to tamper with the course of justice?
All I was trying to do was establish her innocence.
Hers or yours?
Exactly, sir. You see, there's another problem.
What?
The gun that killed Morris Anstey was a police weapon. A .44, identical to mine.
Oh, my God.
I have no record of that, sir.
5 pistols missing, 6 rifles unaccounted for.
There must have been an error in the stock taking, sir.
We'll soon find out.
I hope you do, Inspector. It's my responsibility as quartermaster. I realize that.
If those weapons find their way into the hands of the Irish...
Rather a large if, isn't it, sir? Have you any evidence?
Don't you take that tone with me. These men are traitors. Their sworn aim is to drive the British out of Ireland. And by God, if they do it with weapons stolen from the police...
We don't know yet, sir, if any guns are missing.
Sergeant Stryker, you remember him?
Yes, sir, I do.
He says he handed in his weapon on Wednesday. Defective firing mechanism.
I have no record of that, sir.
Then either he's lying or you are.
What are you doing here? I said no visitors.
Excuse me, sir. He's got a letter from the minister.
Out, both of you.
I have my orders.
And I have mine from the provincial government. Out.
Talk to you, Inspector Cameron.
You don't have to, Kathy. All I want is for you to listen, because this is important. It seems that you don't want any help from anyone. Well, that's your decision. I won't try to change your mind. But there are other people concerned in this. Innocent people who may suffer. Kathy, I want you to tell me where you got the gun. Morris Anstey, was it his? Did you perhaps find it when you were tidying up his room?
Does it matter?
No, not to you. They'll still say it was premeditated murder, that you planned to kill him.
Then why should I lie? It wasn't his.
And there's just one person you could have got it from.
I wish you'd leave me alone.
Sergeant Straker.
What?
He was your friend. You told him that Morris was annoying you. He had a gun, police issue.
No.
That's what you're holding back.
You're wrong. You know him. You know he'd never do... Oh, my God. What can I do?
You can tell the truth.
I can't.
You'll be charged. Accessory to murder.
Oh, Inspector Cameron. Morris and I were lovers. About 4 years ago, when I first went to work in his mother's house. I was young. I didn't know any better. But he was so persuasive. Well, I had a child.
I see.
A little girl. She was taken away from me. And Morris was sent away to England.
Straker knows nothing of all this.
Oh, he won't want anything more to do with me. So don't you see, it doesn't matter.
Nevertheless, the gun, you must tell me where you got the gun.
Please, just go away. No, what's the matter?
I've already told Inspector Regan everything I know.
I'm sure he was very sympathetic.
Yes, he was.
The Toronto police have always been rather sympathetic with the Anstey family, haven't they?
What do you mean by that?
I have here some press cuttings of the escapades of your son, Morris.
Youthful high spirits, nothing more.
For which he was never prosecuted.
Prosecuted? For what?
Assault and battery, arson. That's what they'd have called it if anybody but a member of the Anstey family had been involved.
You have no right to talk like that. I must ask you to leave, Inspector.
They don't mention, of course, that he fathered an illegitimate child on your maidservant, Kathy O'Rourke.
I see. It's not enough that my son is dead. You want to drag this up as well.
You don't deny it?
Why should I? I've nothing to be ashamed of. I arranged for the child to be adopted and for Kathy to remain in service here. I acted as any Christian woman would. I even provided money.
Money? Oh, yes. But she didn't give it willingly. She'd have put the girl out on the street if it hadn't been for me.
A little gentle persuasion, eh, Mr. Winthrop?
Yeah, could call it that, sir. You see, sir, Madam and I are members of the same congregation, and I hinted that word of Mr. Morris's little escapade might reach the ears of the vicar, unless Madam chose to do the decent thing. Good for you. I swore I'd never tell, but as Kathy has told you herself...
Did any of the others know about this?
The other servants?
Mm-hmm.
Minnie wasn't with us then. Neither was the groom. No, just Patrick, the gardener.
Patrick? Is he Irish?
Oh, yes.
Ah. Where can I find him?
I don't know, sir. He and Sean, the groom, they knocked off early today.
Sean?
Sean Murphy.
Ah, both were Irish, eh? Where are they now?
Gone drinking, probably, sir. Both very upset about Kathy. Patrick particularly.
Oh, was he sweet on her?
He is her brother. Came over together about 5 years ago.
What else do you know about him?
Not much, sir. Just suspicion that he seems to be a supporter of the Republican cause. But then so are most of the Irish in this city.
He, ever get any visitors?
Yes, he and Sean did have a friend. Came to visit him once a month without fail. I let them put him up in the stable loft. From the United States, I believe.
When was he here last?
It'll be about 2 weeks ago, sir. Very strange. He left very abruptly, without a word of thanks, not a goodbye to anyone.
Kathy, it'll soon be time to go. I thought you'd like to wear this for luck.
A cameo brooch. Where'd you get that?
A friend brought it, a Mr. Winthrop. The governor says you can.
Thank you.
It's pretty.
It was Mother's.
Come on, O'Rourke. Time we got to court.
Patrick O'Rourke and Sean Murphy.
She never said anything about her brother.
And she never asked you to the house?
No, sir.
Yeah, that could be why.
Inspector Cameron, I've got to talk to him.
Oh, they've come back?
Yes, sir. And they're packing up to leave for the United States, they said.
Oh, we'd better go at once, Inspector.
You will, lad.
But, sir,
No, you take this gun. Off you go. You and I will go to the court, Mr. Winthrop. Delaying tactics.
Highly respected Toronto family. My lord, members of the jury. What happened that night is not the subject of dispute. The accused O'Rourke shot Morris Anstey and killed him, either in self-defense, as she will no doubt claim, or as the result of a cold-blooded decision.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, my lord.
Mr. Williams, we've already heard that the accused does not wish to give evidence in her own behalf. What she might or might not say is not for you to speculate.
No, my lord. Let me put it another way. The Crown will seek to prove that the fatal weapon was deliberately acquired by the accused in advance with the intention of killing Morris Anstey. My first witness is Sergeant Lane of the Toronto Police.
Call Sergeant Lane. Do you swear by Almighty God that the evidence you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Are you Sergeant Alfred Lane?
Yes, sir, I am.
Attached to police headquarters in Toronto?
That is correct, sir.
In what capacity?
As quartermaster, I'm responsible for all stores and equipment, including weapons.
Give me Exhibit A. Sergeant, please look at this. Do you recognize that gun?
Yes, sir, I do. It is a Smith & Wesson, one of the old police issue. They were replaced recently by new Webleys.
Where are the old Smith & Wessons kept now? In quartermaster stores?
No, sir. They were sent back to Central Stores in Ottawa.
All of them?
No, sir. One of the police marksmen kept his, sir.
One of the marksmen?
Yes, sir.
Well, why did he not get a new Webley?
Well, he insisted on keeping his old gun. He liked it for target shooting. He called it his old friend.
Is that gun accounted for?
No, sir. It's Sergeant Stryker's. He's been suspended for losing it.
He's lying. That gun was handed in.
How do you know, Cameron?
What is this disturbance in
He's lying.
Who is that?
Inspector Cameron.
We can leave tonight. We'll be in Boston in 2 days.
We can't leave now.
Why not?
There's Kathy.
What's more important?
Yes, I know, but...
Now, don't weaken now, Sean. Remember what happened to that other young lad. Now, he got scared, too, and he had to be got rid of.
She's your sister.
I can't trust even her. She talks for Dodge.
Patrick O'Rourke?
Inspector Cameron, do you recognize this gun?
Well, I couldn't swear to it. I've seen many like it. But as I've not much use for such things, I don't pay much attention to them.
Let me help you. It's a Smith & Wesson.
So it is.
Perhaps you recognize it now.
Eh? Could I borrow your glasses, your spectacles? Thanks very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me see now. Thank you. No, I'm afraid I don't.
When When Sergeant Stryker was seconded to you as a bodyguard, did you check what kind of armaments he had?
No, I thought he was quite capable of looking after all that kind of thing himself.
Where is Sergeant Stryker?
At this precise moment. I couldn't say.
From here. Not unless he's out in the open. Aye. I'll try and draw him out.
Fire! Mr. Winthrop, do you know of any reason why the accused would wish to kill Morris Anstey?
No, sir, I do not. Not to kill him.
Members of the jury, the defense has offered no evidence as to how the fatal weapon came into the possession of the accused. All we know is that it appears to be police issue and was probably last seen in the hands of a Sergeant Stryker. How it passed from him to Catherine O'Rourke, whether deliberately or by his negligence, is a matter for the police authorities. What you have to decide is quite simple. Did the accused deliberately arm herself, by whatever means, with the intention of killing Morris Anstey?
In here,
Well, what is this disturbance?
Patrick!
Hold your tongue, do you hear?
I demand that Sergeant Stryker shall be heard.
Who is that man?
The brother of the accused, my lord.
Getting ready to skip across the border with half the guns from the police armor. Tell him about the quartermaster, Patrick.
Please, Your Honor, please, sir, let me speak.
Let her go, let her go.
Sorry. Captain, please. Remember what we're fighting for, the cause.
You'd let her die for your cause, would you? Well, then why should she save you?
Oh, Cathy!
Do you swear by Almighty God that the evidence you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir, I do.
Now, you tell the jury in your own words.
Morris Anstey was my lover. About 4 years ago, I had a baby. Mrs. Anstey didn't want a scandal, so she was taken away from me. The butler, Mr. Winthrop, made them keep me on. Morris was sent away to England. But then when he came back, it started again. He wouldn't let me alone. I told my brother Patrick, who was working in the house, and he said not to worry. He had a lot of guns he'd bought from someone in the police and was planning to ship to Boston for the Irish rebels.
Those guns your brother had, were they loaded?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I didn't think so. All I wanted to do was to make Mr. Morris leave me alone.
Why didn't you tell us this before?
Patrick made me swear not to tell. But now I see he didn't care what became of me. And I don't suppose anyone else will either.
Goodbye, madam.
Goodbye, Winthrop.
I thought you always said you didn't need a bodyguard.
Yeah, Premier Maud's decision, not mine.
Well, I'm not sure that I can spare Sergeant Stryker. A good man, that. But 2 malefactors out of action with 2 shots.
3 if you count the quartermaster. You should be more careful with your appointments, Regan.
Precisely, Cameron. That's why I don't want to let Stryker go. However, there are some others here I can offer you.
Oh.
Excuse me, but I thought you'd like to know. Patrick O'Rourke and the other fellow have been charged with the murder of that lad from Boston.
And the girl?
A retrial. Charge reduced to manslaughter. She's pleading self-defense.
Oh, well, she'll probably be acquitted. Good news for her.
And now we have to decide what to do with you. I could use a good marksman. Challenge Cup coming up next month. No doubt you'd like your old friend back. I'm sure that Inspector Cameron would be quite happy with somebody else.
No, Regan, all things considered. I don't believe I would. No. It's not that Sergeant Stryker is ideal in all respects. It's just that, well, we've grown used to one another's peculiarities. So I'd prefer if you'd let me continue with Sergeant Stryker. And if you don't, I'll damn well take it up with Premier Maud himself. Yeah, come on, you.